Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin and today I have another friend picks my TBR video for you. Now, full transparency, I'm filming this not on the 1st of October because let me tell you why. I had already filmed this on the 1st of October, but I dropped my external hard drive and lost all of my clips, documents, pictures, anything that was stored on that external hard drive, gone, because technology is a fragile bitch. So I'm redoing this, which means that I lost my initial clip reacting to this person choosing my TBR. And I'm sure by now you know who it is choosing my TBR. It's Bree over at Locked Petition, the creator of Blackoween, the lover of crime thrillers, black classics, everything blackity black over there on that channel. And if you don't know Bree, I don't know what rock you've been living under, how you don't know who this wonderful, glorious person full of just sunshine and light is. Please go check out Bree's channel if you have not. Anyway, I had her choose my TBR and I did ask her for some prompts. I can't remember what they are right now at this very moment, but at some point in this video, I will let you know what the prompts for the books that she chose was, and I'll give it to you. But for right now, I'm going to pass it over to Bree to tell you what books she chose for me to read in October.
Hey, I'm here, Robin. I'm showing up. Sorry, I had to put on the sweater. I am actually talking to Robin on the Zoom, but had to take a little bit. Why is this? This is pissing me off. Like, what is happening here? Okay, sorry. I was like, I cannot be out here looking like this. I already got a crusty face because I'm sick. All right, so, let me get my Rapunzel on y'all. I know, y'all wasn't ready, but that's not what y'all here for. You here for a good old October TBR that was created by, hold to the pause, moi. And I chose a couple books for Robin, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I chose. So I chose Long Division. I chose Long Division because Long Division is about this kid who is like going in and out of town, and that he's like secretly in love with this girl who his best friend, and just the comedy between them two is something I always think of. Like, he's calling her dirty and stinky, and she's just still like, I'm gonna go ahead and figure out this time. I think somebody went into time, but anyway, it's the humor and how black it is as far as like culture is the reason why I think that would be a great book for you. Another one is Conjured Women. I think her last name might be Afia or her first name might be Afia, but this is about it's really, to me, just a lesson on root magic, what happens when you're conjuring, paying attention to lessons that was given to you, and just like what could go wrong if you're not paying attention to those lessons. It's very much a story of a mother doing what she can to be there for her child, her daughter, if memory serves me right. Gave it 5 stars. I know that's right. I know that's right. Gave it 5 stars. Yep, it's a mother and daughter with a shared talent for healing. So it's, I just thought this was a really good story because it just reminded me of some of the lessons that, my grandma has told me, like just what's going on and just how to exist as a woman. And then, I'm not going to lie, Miss Bell, forever be that girl. To me, I just want you to know. The Personal Librarian also, I got this recommendation from Latrice, so and I pulled it out of my college and draw for my Patreon, and I was like, okay, let's see what it is. Oh my god, girl, in the bag. This is based on a real life story of this woman who was allegedly she was white presenting, and she got this job through all of the devastation that happened in her life to this point. She got this job to work with JP Morgan. So it's a historical exaggeration, because we don't know what actually happened between her and JP Morgan, but it is a exaggeration on what happens when you're passing and you're working for a very powerful man who have very powerful needs and could literally destroy you with the word. With the word. And you're hiding this secret, and there are people who suspect, because your skin can get olive, they suspect that you might not be all white, so they are trying to destroy you as well. We know what that is in a modern context, we do, but that was just too good. And then a book that's not on your TBR is my favorite black classic, which is called Invisible Man. And just being in the mind of this black man as he's going through trial and tribulation, going into different aspects of the world, trying to get into politics. Am I black enough? It's just reading this whole book and you not once know the man's name. Like, it was just like beautifully done. I love this author, and Invisible Man is like one of my favorite books of all time, but it's my favorite black classic. Another one is Nana by Brandon Massey. You know that I love Brandon Massey. He is one of my, and it depends on which book I'm reading at the time, it's either between him and Walter Moses being my favorite black authors who write suspense, horror, you know, the crime fiction of it all. But this follows the story of this girl. She has been raised by her grandma, and it opens up of her being at the funeral of her grandma. At this time, she has a husband and she also has a child, and the husband's mom is really big into their lives. So at the funeral, this woman, she's older, kind of look like her, comes up to her and say, "Hey, I'm your mom." And she's fallen apart, and deep in her grief, she invites this woman to her home, and then everything is not what it seems. She's getting sicker, mom's getting thicker, and they're just out there living their lives until shit goes down. So I really hope that you read all of these books. Sorry, I'm just so chatty damn Kathy. You know who I am, that girl. But anyway, I will talk to you later. I pulled out my lighting for you. That's how you know so I'll talk to you later. That's it. I can't, no pictures. That's it. No pictures, Robin. No pictures, Robiana. Bye.
Bree picked Conjure Women for me by Afia Adekora, but I did have it on my TBR for a long time. I don't know how long I've had this book. I am interested to get into this. And then she also chose for me Long Division by Kiese Layman. This is I'm very interested in because it's told in dual perspectives. So like the cover is this, like this cover, but then you turn around and it's like the same cover, but like turn it upside down. It's the exact same cover. And that's because it's two different stories. Well, not two different stories. It's the same story told from two different perspectives, I believe. And so I'm very interested to see how this goes. I really enjoyed Kiese Layman's Heavy. That was the first book I had ever read by him, and I really enjoyed it. But then I read, what was his other book that was like How to Slowly Kill Yourself in America or something? I think that's the name of it. And it was a collection of essays, and I couldn't get past maybe the second or third one. It wasn't hitting for me. And so I'm interested to read this because this is fiction. His other two works that I've read were nonfiction. So I'm curious like how this will work out for me, if I'll enjoy the dual storytelling aspect of this. And then also for my TBR, she chose The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. I feel like it's been a while since I've read true historical fiction. And I know that this talks about the personal librarian for JP Morgan, the woman that built up his collection. And I don't know a whole lot about this. I think this woman is supposed to be passing as white in the early 1900s. So I imagine that brings up a lot of questions and challenges about like what does it mean to be white passing and why would you choose to do such a thing, along with the challenges of being a woman in a male dominated industry such as like collections at that time. So that'll be very interesting. And then the other two books that Bree chose for me were not originally on my own TBR, but I have since gotten them because I realized I think that I either wanted to read them physically or I wanted to like annotate them. And these two were, one of the prompts I gave Brie was to choose a Black classic for me, and she chose Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. So I knew that when she chose this for me, I would want to tab this up probably. So I ended up getting the physical copy of this. And then the other prompt that I asked Brie to choose for me was a pick for Blackoween, because how could I read a book in October and not have the creator of Blackoween choose a book for me and a book for my Blackoween TBR. And she chose Nana by Brandon Massey for me to read, and I was just like, I think I might want to read this one physically, so I ended up picking it up. And so those are the books that Brie chose for me to read this month. I'm actually excited to get to all of them. I'm always excited when someone chooses my TBR and picks my books for me. I am especially excited because I'm sure you have seen by now, if not, that a group of us went on a BookTube Friends trip to a cabin and had a spectacular time. So you will see clips from that. You will see some reading. I don't know how much, there's not going to be a whole lot of Blackoween stuff in here. I'm doing a separate Blackoween vlog. Whether you saw that before or after this, I'm not sure. Unclear. But that's what we've got going on. And so yeah, let's do this. Let's read these books, or I guess read these books and see how I feel about them. So I am out and about in these streets. I've got caffeine because necessary. I'm on my way to pick up a very special package. But before I go pick up that package and show you what the package is, because I want to show you, I am 40% of the way into Conjure Women. I'm enjoying the story overall. It is about two women in different timelines, but kind of the same timeline. So one is a mother and one is a daughter. So it's also a generational story. You guys know how much I love generational stories. Let me turn this air off. It's probably loud as all heck. Okay, so we have Mama Maybelle. She is a conjure woman. She uses herbs and remedies that can create curses. They can heal. They can do all sorts of things. And so they are living on a plantation at this time. And the plantation owner knows this about Mama Maybelle and allows her to keep her daughter in return for providing like services of the healing and protecting nature with her powers. And so Maybelle teaches her daughter Rue how to do all of this stuff. She passes down the knowledge, ancestral knowledge. So if y'all want to read this next year for Blackoween, then this would count for ancestral knowledge. But then, so she teaches Rue all of this stuff. And in a separate timeline, Rue is now the healer. She is now the conjure woman her mother has passed on. But Maybelle has done something that has tied everyone to the land, which is a gift and a curse. So they're tied to the land. They're not going to have to leave the land. But the thing is, freedom for enslaved people has come. And so people are like, I want to leave. And now I'm at a point where there is a sickness amongst the community, and people think that Rue has brought this sickness on. Rue and a baby that she delivered has brought this illness to the community, and they are very suspicious. Also at this time, not that Christianity wasn't already present in this community, but now a preacher man has come and has laid healing hands on people, and people are like, well, we don't need, you know, the old remedies. We don't need the conjure woman anymore because we have this preacher man and he is doing miracles, kind of. I feel something suspicious is happening with him. I can't say for sure what it is, but something just feels suspicious. Also, that there is something going on with a baby that Rue delivered that was born under very weird, mysterious circumstances. And I think something's also going on with that. I think the baby might be healing for the community, and I hope that for them, because if they kill this baby or do something, it's not a good look. But that is where I am. I think I'm going to read a little bit more of that tonight. I don't know. I've got a lot of things happening tonight and in the upcoming weekend, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm going to be hanging out with some friends. But yes, I'm caffeinated and I am gonna go pick up my special package now, and come along with me as I pick up this package. I've secured a special package.
I'm the
It's
package.
Ray!
Hi.
We are on our way to eat, hang out, do some other things, and then
Get ready for the trip.
Maybe I'll even read a little. Probably not. But one can dream.
Listening to Mexican Gothic.
Yes, we are going to get started going on this trip. But on our way there, we've got time. So we're going to listen to Mexican Gothic. Is this your first Sylvia Moreno Garcia?
It is. So,
I'm nervous.
make or break.
Wow.
She's got one chance.
Not her having one chance and this is it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I technically do have silver nitrate though, because I got an advanced listening copy, but then I didn't listen to it.
Okay. Well, we will listen to Mexican Gothic. That's our buddy read for this month. And then hopefully we enjoy it.
That I really hope so. Like whatever the plot twist is, it better be a fucking good one.
Well, we've got 3 hours to figure it out.
Alright.
All right. Bye.
Unquestionably late, and since the hosts enjoyed
Imagine adding a toddler to that. It's hell.
I love you.
Do you?
I do. Forever.
What am I doing? I'm working on the Santa list. And I was just about to add my links on it because I don't want to forget later. Make sure I get a good gift.
Hi, Ray. Are you having a good time?
I am. It's my second caffeine of the day, so
I also had 2 caffeines today.
necessary.
I usually have like 3 per week.
Really? Wow. You tired of us?
Hello, welcome back. I'm also back from my trip. If you saw any of that B-roll, because who knows what kind of footage I collected while I was on my trip with some of the most amazing women that I have ever met in my life. And now these women are genuinely my friends in my heart. Love them. But had such a good time. Did not do a ton of reading while I was there. I tried my best, and I think I got through maybe like 4 pages. But that's okay, because in the end, I did finish Conjure Women. And I'm going to give this 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed this. It's the intertwining story of mother and daughter. Mother is Miss Maybelle and daughter is Rue. Rue grew up on the plantation. I don't know if Miss Maybelle grew up on that plantation or if she had been like bought by the master of the plantation and then, but either way, they lived on this plantation in the South, and it's told in dual timelines. You have before freedom timeline, so say slavery time, and that is really when Miss Maybelle is the conjure woman for the plantation. She is the one who is taking care of all of slaves, making sure that they are healthy. If there's anything that they need, she provides for them. She also provides for the family of the house, and she makes a deal with the master of the plantation that she will, although I don't really feel like there was a choice here, because slave masters were just doing whatever they wanted because they were dicks. But the deal was that Miss Maybelle would continue on and create all the conjuring spells and remedies needed to keep the family and the slaves safe and healthy, as long as she would be able to keep her daughter, Rue, so that Rue would never be sold to anyone or ever leave the plantation that she was on. The master, I think his name was Master Charles. I don't remember that white man's name, but that was the plan, and he agrees. Master Charles also has a daughter named Verena, who is the same age as Rue. So in these past timelines, you get what's going on with Miss Maybelle, but you also find out what's happening with Rue as she's growing up, and she is a playmate to Verena, but not completely, right? She is Verena's plaything and servant, and whatever Verena wants Rue to be in the moment she wants her to be it. And you see them grow up together, where Rue learns some of the harder lessons in life, but Verena is still just going through thinking like life is all fun and games until something happens to Verena. Something very tragic happens to Verena. There are very real physical and spiritual dangers in this book. So while the enslaved people are just being beaten for regular everyday things, there's also like spiritual and soul ailments that come across people, right? Things that people are wishing and desiring and want, but maybe can't get from just everyday medicine. And that's where Miss Maybelle and then later on Rue come into play. In fact, I think we start the book off with a woman who comes to Miss Maybelle and she wants to leave. And Miss Maybelle gives her something so that she cannot be tracked on her way escaping north. And it's basically like, never come back here. Once you're free of this place, of this plantation, don't come back here. This is going to take you to freedom and to a better life than what you got here. And then there's also like the complex relationships between mother and daughter, between friends and lovers. And, there's a very complex master-slave dynamic. And I just think that seeing all of them wrapped up in this book is very interesting to see and very thought-provoking. You start to wonder, like, who do you call friend? Who do you call family? And once you call them that, can you depend on them? Will they be there in your time of need? Or is it just like a very surface relationship? Also, when you're angry with these people and you have conflict with them, how do you handle that? How do you come back from that? Overall, I enjoyed the read. I think that I would definitely read more from this author. I was I was invested the whole time, which says a lot because I feel like I'm either very into the characters or I'm into the plot. But it's very rare that I'm into both character and plot. And this one I was, because I wanted to know what was going to happen with everyone that was living on the plantation, both past and present, because there is something that happens in here where there is a secret being kept that jeopardizes everybody that is currently living on the plantation, even though slavery time is over and they supposedly have freedom. And so they are not only plagued by this kind of secret that's happening that only like one or two people know about, but also by the uprising of the KKK in this particular area and how they are like now plaguing the community living here. So there's a lot to unpack in this book. I did not read this for Blackoween, but I could see how you could read this for Blackoween. It definitely has a suspenseful aspect. It has some ancestral knowledge, some conjuring. I was going to say witchcraft, but not really. But, you know, conjuring can be kind of seen as a type of witchcraft. I think actually people start calling Rue a witch in this because they are turning away from their these traditional herbal remedies that Miss Maybelle was producing and turning more towards like Christianity and prayer. And it's like, well, prayer doesn't solve everything, but that's a whole other book, right? But that's where we are. I feel like I really need to make progress in some reading. I am so behind. I overcommitted to books and TBRs this month. And even though it's like the 8th, ninth of October, I just feel like I need to do some racing to catch up and get some reading done. And so we will be back. I think I'm going to pick up, I think I might pick up The Personal Librarian next. Either that or Long Division. We shall see. One or the other will be right next. Because I do want to start reading some of my Blackoween reads, which I mean, I could read Nana because it's one of my Breeze picks for me, and it's also my Blackoween pick. You'll find out when I find out. Actually, I'm going to find out before you because I'm reading it. Whatever. We're gonna do this together.
Look at me hydrating. Okay, so I feel like I haven't been here, you know, to give you guys updates on what I'm reading. But I did want to say that I started The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. I am about 35% of the way in. And it's been a while since I've read like a true, just regular historical fiction. And I don't know why, but it just feels a little slow to me. And I don't know if that normally happens or maybe if it's just the nature of this book. So we're following Belle DeCosta Green. She is a woman who is passing as white. And not only is she just passing as white in the early 1900s, but she is working for J.P. Morgan as his personal librarian and building up his collection of rare books and art and manuscripts for his Piedmont Library. I think that's what it's called. And Belle is playing a dangerous game because she is like trying to pretend she is a white woman. Both of her parents are black, but they've moved to New York. Her mother moved them to New York so that they would, you know, have better chances at life stuff. But it's weird because her father's like, but I'm a champion for civil rights, so I'm gonna head out because this ain't the life that I chose. And so Belle is really kind of like the breadwinner for her family in the sense that she is the person who is keeping them afloat financially, even though her brothers and sisters have jobs, her mother has a job, but like she has the most high paying job. And she has these feelings like of all of this just pressure on her that she has to succeed, keep this secret, and and, you know, live this very quiet, mysterious life so no one figures out who she is. You're really getting to learn Belle, and you're knowing her innermost thoughts and feelings and fears, because this is a scary thing. People just assume that trying to pass as white was like, oh, because you don't want to be black like the rest of us, but like you don't think about the everyday dangers that come with passing as white. Like if somebody suspects who you are, that's not just a, oh, she's actually black. It's like, it's a whole repercussion on you, on your family. These are life or death moments that could just really screw you over. And on top of that, she works for one of the most high profile men, and so she is in the public eye while trying to hide this secret. It is a lot. She talks about how she keeps from having friendships and relationships because she doesn't want anything to be divulged inadvertently, because, you know, somebody might see a curl in her hair, or, you know, they may like see her in a different light and be like, oh, your skin's a little darker, and start having questions. However, there is one person who is consistently asking questions of Belle, and that is JP Morgan's daughter, Anne. But like, girl, Anne, you have your own things happening, so mind your business and not other people's. So we're seeing all of that unfold, but at the same time that you're getting like this personal part of Belle, you get to see a woman who is, it is rare for a woman to be in this type of position, who is getting acquisitions of all these rare materials and art, and you get to like see this world that she's in, the rubbing of elbows with other people in high society, and just being amidst all of this fantastic historical artwork. It's fun to watch, seeing the men turn their heads every time she outbids them, and they're like, who is this woman? How dare she enter this sphere that is male dominated and succeed? Like, and it's like, if y'all only knew, she's not only a woman, she's a black woman, and she's kicking all of your asses, and I love it. But that's where I am with this. I am hoping to finish this by the end of this week. We'll see. I have the audio, so I'm doing a blended read with this, and it's going. I'm reading it. And yeah, so that's where I am. Just wanted to give you guys a quick little update. I don't have a whole lot of plans for the rest of October, so I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done, because I have a lot of reading commitments that I have going on. I just want to get through them. I just want to get through them. Also, like, life is lifing, and the shit state of the world is a lot, and it's like I try to read, and then my mind starts to think about like things that are currently happening in this world, you know, things that are happening to Palestinians and the unjustness of it all. And it's just like, reading, I don't want to do it. I'm bombarded every day, and I know that I have like the immense privilege to be able to turn off the news or not look at social media, but like, I think because I have that privilege, I have to be watching. I need to know what's going on. I can't just live in ignorance and act like it's not happening, because when one of us is oppressed, all of us is oppressed, right? So yeah, that's where I am. That was a tangent I did not expect, but yeah. We'll see how my reading goes, where my headspace is, whether I will read or whether I will just exist. Hello. I feel like it's been a minute since I did an update of any kind for anything. This vlog, any other vlog, a video, anything. But I just wanted to come and give you guys an update on what I'm reading. Also, mind your business, because I have like this crazy ass pimple, and like, it's gotta go. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what I'm reading. And wow, this lighting in here is crazy. Now look at me, all light and bright. But it pains me to say that I have to DNF a book. I don't have to, I can do whatever I want. But I'm going to DNF a book, and maybe it is a soft DNF. I've gotten to 72% of Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison now. And it's a very long, dense read. And I don't know that I'm like done with it forever, but I am done with it for now because I'm just not enjoying it as much as I would want to. I think that has to do with being bogged down in the details of every single thing that's going on and being like, what does this have to do with anything? I like some of the commentary that he has on being a black man in America in this time, and the situations in which like he has to kind of underplay his blackness or overplay his blackness. He's at this point he has joined a group of, I think it's the Brotherhood, and they all refer to each other as brother, and there's like white men and black men all working collectively for like a greater good. And I think like it's interesting that like they put him as the spokesperson for certain things because he's articulate and he knows how to really grab the attention of the crowd, but also like he tries to underplay his role in it because he doesn't want to be seen as like this over influential, ambitious black guy. It's not working for me. I think I'm going to put it down for now. Maybe I'll pick it back up sometime in life, but just not now. I could see how this would be one of Bree's favorite classics because she's so big brained. She's so smart. Unfortunately, my brain is this big and it's overwhelming me. So I paused it. But I did start reading Long Division by Casey Lehman, and I am actually about maybe 25% of the way, and I've already started tabbing this, which I thought was really interesting. I will say, if you've read Heavy, a lot of his personal experiences you can see mirrored in this a little bit in the feelings of the main character. So we have this boy, I think he's like in 9th grade. He is in Jackson, Mississippi, and he is going to be a part of a sentence competition. It is different than a spelling bee. It is, can you use this word appropriately and dynamically in a sentence? And it is him and this other boy from their school. I think they're the only 2 black contestants in this national championship. And so they are representing for their school and for Mississippi. And when they get to the competition, him and the other boy, they already have like their own individual competitions at their school. Like they have personal beef, and not like an academic scholarly beef. These 2 boys, City and the other dude, I think his name is Lavander, they don't like each other. So when they get to this competition, Lavander's like, listen, I'm taking this home. And this is because I want to teach all those people that just because you picked us as minorities to be a part of this competition doesn't mean that we're not going to beat the bricks off you competition wise and Rain. And they thought you could just use us as tokens so that you would feel good about having certain minorities in your competition where everybody else is white. But haha, joke's on you, I've come to win. And City is like, I don't understand what you're talking about. We're just here because we won the best out of our school. And, you know, we obviously were so good that why wouldn't we be here? I don't know if I'm supposed to like City because there are things that happen in here. I think he's, like I said, in 9th grade or something. And I just want to be like, some of these concepts I feel like you should understand by now, because he's like, I don't understand, why would we be the only minorities here? Why would they choose us as just the minorities when there are no other black people? And until Lavander like says this to City, he's just like, I just thought we got here because we were really good with sentences. And it was like, my dude, the word that you won for like your whole state, the word was chitlins. And I had to pause. And I was just like, I can't believe that was the word that they gave you to use in a sentence. And you won the entire state, like, sentence bee? I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what we're going to call it. But I am enjoying it. So obviously I will be continuing. And it's kind of a short book. I think it's like less than 300 pages. So I think I can get through this pretty quickly. I'll come back when I either have something very exciting to tell you or maybe the end. I have a staff retreat this, so I don't know how much I will have read before then, and how much reading I can do while I'm there, but I will try my bestest to do some reading and wrap this up for y'all. I'm at a staff retreat for the weekend. Super nice house. Look at this background. Look at this. You guys can't see the light because it's all foggy, but it's there. But I want to give you guys an update on long division. I have made it to, I'm going to say like the halfway point, because the book is just divided into two books. So there's book one, there's book two. I have finished book one, and I'm a little bit confusion. If I had to give a rating at this point, I would say like it's a 3.25. It's going a little bit above my head, and I think that there's a couple of reasons for that. The first reason is because it's divided into two books. I feel like I heard that you're supposed to read the chapters interchangeably, but I could never find anything anywhere that said to do that. And the only reason I knew that about the interchangeable is because I think I heard about it one time before, and then on the audiobook, because I was like, well, if I get the audiobook, it can help me read it a little bit quicker. The audiobook has them, I think, in alternating chapters. I was confused because I was like, oh, well, this is the chapter that I'm at, and then I would go and I'd be like, this is not the chapter that I'm at. And I would like look, and it would be like a chapter in book two. So maybe I was supposed to read this in alternating chapters, but I didn't. I just read book one straight through. And I think while doing that, you miss out on some key components because he keeps talking about, let me back up before I go there. So this is City. I think I told you he was in a national sentence competition, and he gets up on stage when they give him like this crazy word to say that he just feels is obscenely racist, and the only reason that they gave him that word was because he was black, and they were expecting him and the other black kid, Lavander Peeler, that he was with, to win. That's the only reason why they were even invited to the competition with the words that they won. So it was City and Lavender Peeler, and then also at the competition were 2 Mexican kids, and they were like, these are the minorities, and these are the ones that we're gonna have win because we need a minority to win, you know, so we don't look, you know, racist. And so I think Lavender Peeler kind of figures that out, but he tries to play the game from a respectability standpoint. He's like, you know, if I can't get here on my own merit, just based off my own smarts, I'm going to let them know that I would have been here on my own merit, that I am smart, that I could win this. But City takes a different approach. He gets up on stage and he's like, fuck all y'all. Like, all of you white people, I'm not with it. After that incident, it blows up. It's all on YouTube. People have filmed it, this like very viral moment. And so his mother sends him off to Malahatchie, Georgia, Mississippi, London, I don't know. I don't remember which state. Mississippi? Oh, it's Mississippi. So he gets shipped off to Mississippi. He gets shipped off to his grandmother's, and that's when things start to get a little weirder. So he was given a book called Long Division by his principal, and he's like, this book is weird. You know, there's a character in the book named City. There's also a character in the book named Baez, and Baez happens to be a girl who is currently missing, but like the book takes place in the 1980s. So City's like, I don't know what this book is about. So he's continuously reading this book, but we don't get to know what's in the book except that there are things that are happening in his real life that are also mentioned in the book. And he's like, this is just super weird. But that's the only thing that you get of the actual book that he's reading. I think book 2 of this book is the actual book that City is reading that takes place in the 1980s, has the character City and Baez and a couple of other people. I haven't gotten too far into book 2. I've only read the first chapter, but I'm hoping that that is what it is. I'm hoping that I will read book 2 and have a better understanding of book 1. There were a lot of quotes in here that resonated with me, and then there are just some tabs in here for moments where I was like, what the fuck? I'm hoping to finish this during the weekend, and then I'm gonna close out this vlog because I feel like I've been doing it forever. But I will see you guys in the next clip, hopefully finishing up this book. Good morning. The time has come where 2 things are happening. 1, I finally finished Long Division. 2, I am closing out this vlog. I feel like I started this so long ago and I'm just now finishing it. But let me tell you about Long Division. I finished this last night and I think I'm gonna go with like a 3.25 star on this. But let me rewind, because there wasn't a whole lot of time to update you guys because I read through the second half pretty quickly. But the second half of this book is the book that City is reading in the first half. So this is a book with a book in it. And it's interesting because the main character in the second book is also named City, and he is traveling through time. And one of the times that he stops in is in 2013, which is also the same time that City in the first book is in. And it's also along the same lines as when this girl, Baez, has gone missing. And so City's like, wow, why is Baez, City number 1 is like, wow, why is Baez in this book? And City number 2 is actually coming across Baez in the book. And I just think it's very interesting the way that the worlds kind of crisscross each other. And then you get the time jump element in the second half of this book. If you're trying to figure out how the time jumping works, don't go looking for explanations because this isn't the book for that. This book is an exploration of what it means to be a Black boy in the South in 1964, in 1985, in 2013. What it feels like to come from a family that is not what a traditional family looks like, what it feels like to fall in love for the first time. Actually, the whole book, both sides of this, is about that. It's really a coming of age story, a look at race relations in the South, at different time periods, having feelings about the way you look in your body and just being kind of uncomfortable in social settings because you're not sure whether you're like being cool enough or, you know, whether people like you. I think that there's a lot happening in this whole overall book, and I think if it had just focused on maybe one or two things and went into depth a little bit more, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. I just think for me it felt a little incomplete at times. We'd have these grandiose conversations between two characters and then we would abruptly pivot to something different that had nothing to do with anything, and I was left feeling like I wanted to still explore the previous conversation that they were having before they pivoted to something else, another time, another place. I do just feel like I could have gone with a little bit more definitive resoluteness of sorts. But all in all, still a good time. I think this is his first work, Casey Lehman. I think this came out in 2013. Yep. This came out in 2013. I think that this is a very ambitious experimental piece of work that is worth giving a try. And now we are going to wrap this all up. And thank you again to Bree for choosing my TBR. I don't think I would have read most of these things if it had not been for Bree. I mean, I would have read them eventually in life, but I don't know that I would have gravitated towards picking them up. So let's rewind, recap, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Don't ask me. Just don't ask me. So I asked Bree to pick a book that catches your attention, and she chose for me Long Division. It caught her attention. It caught my attention for sure, and I just talked about it, so I don't need to go into too many thoughts about it, but 3.25. And then I asked her to pick a book that she thought I would like. She chose Conjure Women by Afia Adekoya, and I did like this. I liked the generational storytelling between mother and daughter and how magic was infused in these people's lives, how people were trying to figure out what they were doing after they found that they were freed from slavery, and how they tried to keep community with each other. Also, this is the first book I read, and I read it during the time when I was with Bree. So yes, this was definitely a 4-star read for me. I had a very good time, and I will definitely be reading more from Afia Adekoya. I don't know if she writes in this vein a lot, but also, this wasn't for a Blackoween read, but I definitely feel like you could read this for the prompt of ancestral knowledge, making a deal. Then I asked Bree to choose a book, any book, and she chose The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. And this was about, what was her name? What was that lady's name? Belle DeCosta Green. She worked for JP Morgan as his personal librarian, acquiring art, rare books, rare literary pieces for his collection. And I thought it was interesting because she was a Black woman passing as a white woman, and all of the different struggles, internal struggles, external struggles that she faced while trying to hide her identity, but also like be this big figurehead in the art world. I thought this was a good read. I think I have another book by this duo, and it also made me feel like I really want to get back into my historical fiction bag. I haven't done like straight historical fiction in a long time, and I really just enjoyed being immersed back into a time, and especially with such a very interesting figure such as Belle DeCosta Green. And then I asked Bree to choose 2 books for me that were not on my physical TBR, but now I do own them because I wanted them. The first one was her favorite Black classic, and that was Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I ended up soft DNFing this. I don't know if this is soft DNF or a hard DNF, but at this moment in time in my head, it is a soft DNF. I got to like 70%. My only problem with this was that, not just this, but for classics, I have a trouble with the way that they tell stories, because it bogs you down in the minutia of an event, of a particular moment in time, so much so that you kind of forget where this all fits in into the larger story and doesn't even have anything to do with it. That being said, I could see great connections between this and Long Division, especially as it relates to like who I am as a Black person in America and what does that mean for me as I interact with other people. So I enjoyed it to a point, but I don't know if I enjoyed it enough to finish it, if that makes sense. It could have been right book, wrong time. It could have just been me. I wasn't getting to the point, and he was having these grand soliloquies in the middle of every chapter. I was just like, I cannot. But that's where we are with this. And then my last prompt for Brie was to choose a book for me to read for Blackoween. And so I read Nana. I don't think I really talked about Nana in this vlog at all. I don't think I talked about it at all in this vlog, but I did talk about it in my Blackoween vlog, which you can see here. And yeah, I liked Nana a lot. I think I ended up giving this like a 3.5 through 7.5. You know, you have this woman who comes back into her daughter's life after abandoning her from birth, I assume, and something is not quite right with this new mother. She's very brash and outspoken and just off, and weird things start to happen when she shows up, and the daughter that she abandoned is so overcome with grief because she just lost her grandmother, the only person who had raised her, and she is looking for comfort. So I think she overlooks a lot of things that she's seeing, but the wife's husband, he's like, there's some weird shit happening. And I think that had the ending been a little different, I think if the big bad monster had been less monstery, or I don't know, maybe like a possession type of thing, I think I would have enjoyed it more than I did. But also I just feel like the ending was a little abrupt, and it was just like, we just want to wrap this up. But I do appreciate that it was a short and fast read, and it made me shocked at many points. Many points. I will definitely be reading more from Brandon Massey, because if his books are all like this, I need more for sure. And that is my Brie Chooses My TBR. I had a great time. I'm glad I finally got to these books, and I don't know who's next up on the roster. I do think that I'm going to be changing it a little bit, because I don't know how long I've been doing this, maybe a year and a half, but I do want to change it up a little bit. Keep a lookout for like my Instagram, because you may be choosing my TBR next. Who knows? I don't. I really don't. But that's all I have for you guys today. Have you read any of these books? Are you interested in any of these books? Do you have suggestions based on what I liked or didn't like? Let me know down below in the comments, and until next time, bye.